Congrats to the Denver Nuggets and the Denver Nuggets fans on the Western Conference title. Tonight, the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers to win the series 4-0 in an epic battle led by so many great performances by the Denver Nuggets. And I am so pumped that the Denver Nuggets will be headed to the NBA Finals, and I believe will win the NBA Finals, which we'll get to at a later date. But there's so much to talk about because the disrespect needs to be addressed, and it needs to be pointed out, and people need to be held accountable for the words that they've said, for the takes that they've had, for the nonsense that's been spewed. So tonight, we're going to give a ton of credit to the Nuggets. We're going to celebrate their win, and I'm going to take a massive victory lap because before the season, I picked the Denver Nuggets to make the NBA Finals. Midway through the season, when they were clearly the best team in the NBA, I picked them to make the NBA Finals. And when the playoffs started, I picked them to win the NBA Finals. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take a victory lap. I'm going to point out everything that I said before the playoffs that became 100% true, that they're led by the best player in basketball, that Jamal Murray is a superstar, that the Denver Nuggets defense can play at a high level when it needs to, that they are a very deep basketball team coached by a very good head coach, and every single one of those things and those items I have been attacked for this year. And I'm going to sit and I'm going to take a second and I'm going to tell you why I was right and why the Denver Nuggets are headed to the NBA Finals. I'm so pumped for the fans. Denver Nuggets fans are some of the best humans in the world. I honestly really enjoyed interacting with y'all. Y'all are the best. You're passionate about your team. You're knowledgeable about your team. You are realistic about your team. And I'm so pumped for Denver Nuggets fans. Before we get into it, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're over 1,300 subscribers. And with the finals starting, we're going to be covering that heavily, probably playing the Miami Heat as the Boston Celtics are in shambles over there. But it's going to be a ton of fun. And the Denver Nuggets, I think, are probably going to be the NBA champions. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to break down all of those games. Obviously, tonight, LeBron James came out and tried to give his best effort to give the Lakers a chance to win one game against clearly the best team in the NBA. And despite 31 points in the first half, it was not enough to take down this juggernaut of a basketball team. This juggernaut of a basketball team that in the playoffs has had the best offensive rating of all time. That's led by an MVP candidate that has averaged a triple-double before tonight was averaging 30 points per game. Where's the rebounds at? 13.2 rebounds per game and 10.1 assists per game. A guy that is criticized heavily on the defensive end of the court, that I was told that Joel Embiid was better than all year. I listened to this nonsense all year. Joel Embiid's better than Nikola Jokic. Giannis Antetokounmpo is better than Nikola Jokic. Anthony Davis, I heard some Anthony Davis is better than Nikola Jokic takes. Well, you can eat crow and you can eat your words because you were wrong. And he proved you wrong, and he's proved you wrong for years, but you just don't want to you don't want to understand what your eyes are seeing. This is not an analytics test. This is not a bunch of numbers. This is watching the games and saying that that is the best player on the planet. Nikola Jokic is that dude, and he deserves the title, and I don't want to hear anyone else's name until proven otherwise. Nikola Jokic dominated this series. He dominated Anthony Davis. And the reason that they have the #1 offense of all time is because of that man, who will go down as one of the best offensive engines that has ever played the game of basketball. He's been so heavily criticized on the defensive end of the court. And all year, I came on this podcast, I came on these videos, and I told you that the Nuggets are good situationally defensively. Yes, they for the stretches of the season, they weren't the #1 defense in the NBA. But when it came down to it and they needed to get stops, I watched a team that could get stops all season long because of some of the additions they made. Tonight, in the second half, 38 points for the Los Angeles Lakers. You can continue to tell me that the Nuggets defense is a liability, and I can continue to prove to you that it's not. This defense is very good. It's plenty good enough to win an NBA title when you have the best offense of all time. Let's move on to a couple other things we need to address. Jamal Murray. After game 1, I called Jamal Murray a playoff superstar. I said he's a star, and in the playoffs becomes a superstar. And I had people in the comments saying that that was a dumb take, that I was wrong. And I went back and forth with them a little bit. And I pointed out some numbers. And I would like to point out that in the playoffs, Jamal Murray is 8th in the entire league in scoring. In this series alone, Jamal Murray, before tonight's game, it hasn't been calculating these stats yet, was averaging 35 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 3 steals. That's a superstar to me. He averages more points per game. He was averaging almost the same as Kevin Durant, more than Jason Tatum, more than Ja Morant, more than the fake MVP Joel Embiid. Jamal Murray is that dude, and in the playoffs, he's able to beat you in so many different ways. He deserves this coming back from the injury. It's an unbelievable story, what he's had to fight through to get to this point, and he deserves it. I want to talk about the depth of the Denver Nuggets. This was another thing that I had pointed out all year that I also got attacked about. Tonight, in this series, they had 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys average double figures. When you look at the other side of the court, the Los Angeles Lakers had 4. They were playing Tristan Thompson, and that team had no depth to it. And people tried to tell me that, no, the Nuggets don't go very deep. If you have 6 guys that are legitimate studs that can go 6 deep and average it over 10 points a game, you're a deep basketball team when it comes to playoff time. Teams are only playing 7 or 8 guys. One of those guys is going to be a defensive stopper. Jeff Green is a veteran guy that, can make big plays in some moments. So when you look at this team, it has incredible talent. And the guy that stood out to me tonight was Aaron Gordon, a guy that they acquired post-Jamal Murray injury. We never got to see the core of Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic play together. Because last year, obviously, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were both hurt. And Aaron Gordon played in probably the best basketball game I've ever seen Aaron Gordon play. He had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, was great defensively. And the ability to play off of Murray, the ability to play off of Jokic was great. And he was put back dunks. He was cutting to the basket. He hit 3 3-pointers. He was all over the court. Michael Porter Jr. continues to show you the talent that we knew that he had if he could just stay healthy, that he could stay on the court. Two-way talent. People tell me that he's not a very good defender. I watch a good defender when I watch Michael Porter Jr. I watch a guy who is unafraid of the moment, who's unafraid to take big shots, and I think that's so valuable. I've watched guys for years shrink in the biggest moments. Royce O'Neal, and not to throw shade at Royce O'Neal because he really doesn't deserve this, but I watched the Utah Jazz in tight playoff series and in tight games down the stretch, and they would give Royce O'Neal the ball, and the guy just did not want it. He did not want the basketball in his hands. It was like hot potato. Michael Porter Jr. wants that shot. Jamal Murray wants that shot. Nikola Jokic will go down the stretch and make big shots. Aaron Gordon made free throws, attacked the rim, made big plays all night long. Bruce Brown out there talking trash, playing defense at a high level, playing really, really solid basketball. And don't even get me started on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was the missing piece to this Denver Nuggets team. He was great at stretching the floor. He's great defensively. He brings that championship pedigree to this team, led by Coach Mike Malone, who did an excellent job making adjustments. You're going to hear tomorrow on the TVs and all over, your radio stations, your podcasts, you're going to hear people say, should the Lakers break it up? Is Anthony Davis to blame for this loss? Is LeBron James should they get Kyrie Irving? That's all you're going to hear. We need to start giving credit to the Denver Nuggets that they went through and annihilated the Western Conference. They went to 6 games with the Phoenix Suns, and that was their longest series, and it was not a close 6. They were up 3-1, and Phoenix stole 1 game, and the Denver Nuggets closed it out in 6. It was not a close series. They weren't close with anyone in the Western Conference. I tried to tell people all year. There was a stupid saying that was going around that the Western Conference was wide open. No, it was stamped, signed, delivered, and held by the Denver Nuggets. That's who was the best team in the West, and that's who is the best team in the NBA, and I believe will win the NBA Finals. Denver Nuggets fans, I am beyond pumped for you guys. I am beyond excited for Nikola Jokic, for Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Jeff Green, Mike Malone, the whole Denver Nuggets organization that deserves this, that played their butts off. And I just couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited. Plus, there's nothing I like more in this world than being right. And I said it over and over again that the Denver Nuggets are the best team in basketball, but people don't watch, people don't care to watch, and people just follow stupid media narratives that are being fed to them. If you watch basketball, this team was far and away the best team in the NBA. And I don't want to hear any debate about it. This team will go and win the NBA Finals. Nikola Jokic will have 2 MVPs, will have a Finals MVP, and will start to be in some discussions for one of the best basketball players of all time. So keep your eyes open, because this is all coming down the pipeline as we head into, I believe, June 1st is the first playoff, the first Finals game, so we're a little ways away. And they're going to be playing the Miami Heat. So pumped for that. Can't wait to follow the NBA Finals. Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate y'all Nuggets fans. Appreciate everyone who watches. Sabrogel.